Dear students of class 9A and 9B, today this class and the points which I mentioned in the board will help you to understand the basic concept of this lesson about the Mughals, about their political life, about the Mughal society, how was it organized by the Mughal rulers. It tells us the history of the past under a number of Mughal rulers. One by one, today I shall teach you in a shortest form, because already I have taught it, but for your better understanding, I shall teach you in a very shortest form. First, for Babur. Babur as a Mughal ruler. What did he do? Babur, who established a Mughal rule, a new dynasty in India, initially decided to capture many Indian states, initially decided to suppress the political influence of the Afghans, because Afghans were Babur's main opponents. That's why Babur realized that the influence of the Afghans must be suppressed. That's why he took an initiative, he took action against the Afghan, and he also took a number of expeditions against the Afghans. Now, why was it? Because in the first battle of Panipat, which was held in the year 1526, Babur defeated the last Sultan of the Delhi. Who was he? He was Ibrahim Lodi. The last Sultan of the Lodi dynasty, Ibrahim Lodi, was defeated by Babur. In the first battle of Panipat, he was defeated and killed. And then Babur established a new dynasty in India, the Mughal dynasty. Now, question is, why had the Afghans become enemies of Babur? And what was the reason Babur also decided to suppress, to crush the growing influence of the Afghans? It is due to the Afghans. It is due to the defeat of the last Sultan of Delhi, Ibrahim Lodi. The Afghans took an oath that they would also take an oath, they would get themselves united and teach Babur a good lesson. Why? Because the last Lodi Sultan, Ibrahim Lodi, was also an Afghan. That's why the Afghans felt insulted and decided to teach Babur a good lesson. Babur belonged to Sunni Muslims. The Afghans decided to organize their group against Babur because of Shias, and Afghans realized that the rule of Babur must be ended in India. He came from Afghanistan, so he must be sent back to his own place, Afghanistan. But far from doing it, he established a new dynasty in India, the Mughal dynasty. That's why in the second battle, in the battle of Ghagra, Babur taught them a good lesson. So Babur was an efficient ruler, brave ruler, not weak in nature. He proved it while fighting against the Afghans. The Afghans also realized that Babur, about whom they had an idea that after being attacked by the Afghans, Babur would get back to his own country, Afghanistan. The expedition, the strategy the bravery, good leadership, use of cannons, make them understand, made them understand that Babur was out and out a good leader, out and out a good ruler, out and out a good strategist, and out a good military general. That's why they left all hopes and wait till his son would come to power. So after 4 years of rule under Babur, the next ruler, his eldest son Humayun, was unable to crush the influence of the Afghans. Why? Because another Afghan was there who was the Subedar of Patna, Subedar of Sasaram. Who was he? He was Sher Khan. Sher Khan, being an Afghan leader, decided to take a revenge of the last Sultan, last Afghan, Ibrahim Lodi's defeat. That's why, by taking weakness of Babur's son Humayun, Sher Khan defeated Humayun in 2 battles. Because of his good strategy, Humayun could not understand. The guerrilla method of war was unknown to Humayun. So Humayun had to consider defeat against Sher Khan. Sher Khan assumed the title Sher Shah Suri and established Sur dynasty as an Afghan leader, Afghan ruler. So it was his rule also was not his rule. The rule established by Sher Shah and the administration he introduced helped the people of India, and he gained respect from the people of our country because of its good administration, because of its good system of governance, because of its good policies, because of its good anticipation between himself and the nobles, and because of the law and order of the country which was established strongly, he gained respect from the people of India. But unfortunately he died, and once again Humayun came to power and re-established the Mughal dynasty. Now what is the credit of Humayun? Humayun's credit is like that. Humayun was unable to defeat Sher Shah, since Sher Shah also was an Afghan leader, and he took the revenge of Ibrahim Lodi. That Lodi, Ibrahim Lodi, who was the last Sultan of Delhi, was defeated by Humayun's father Babur and also was killed. So Sher Khan also took an initiative to arrest Humayun, but Humayun was fortunate enough to have left the battlefield and took shelter at Persia. But ultimately, Humayun was able to recapture or re-establish the Mughal dynasty after the death of Sher Shah Suri. So, Humayun deserved credit because Humayun's brothers created an atmosphere fish out of water. They obstructed Humayun, they disturbed Humayun all times, because 2 brothers of Humayun, out of 2 brothers, one was trying to kill Humayun. But Humayun, as his father, Humayun was instructed by his father Babur that he would not take any action against his brothers, and his brothers should be excused. So Humayun excused his brother, but by way of suppressing the revolts of his brother, Humayun had to spend a lot of time. That's why Humayun could not take initiative, could not take any action against Sher Khan. Ultimately, Sher Khan took its advantages and defeated Humayun. But once again, after the death of Sher Shah Suri, Humayun collected some soldiers from there and marched for Delhi and defeated the weak successor of Sher Shah Suri and re-established the Mughal dynasty. It is so that Humayun deserved credit for it. Now Akbar is a great ruler. Akbar was a great ruler, you know. Why was he great? Because Akbar adopted the policy of equality, the policy of equality. Everyone was treated equally. And Akbar also adopted the policy of matrimonial alliance with the Rajputs. Why? Because the Rajputs were war-liking people. And that Akbar was a brave ruler. He was a courageous. He was a good strategist. He was intelligent. Akbar gave many instances before the Rajputs by defeating them. That's why ultimately the Rajputs accepted Akbar to be one of the greatest leaders, or Akbar was accepted by the Rajputs as a brave ruler, as an intelligent ruler. That's why Akbar gained high reputation and fame from the Rajput gharanas or Rajput families. Ultimately, one Rajput king gave his daughter's hand for Akbar. Akbar accepted his proposal and married him. Who was he? He was Jodhabai, Rajput princess Jodhabai. And ultimately, there established a good relations between the Mughals and the Rajputs. Akbar appointed many Rajputs in his administration in many important posts, and at the same time many Rajputs were appointed as soldiers in his army. So the Rajputs also contributed a lot for strengthening the empire of Akbar, and they also gave their best efforts in extending the areas of the Mughals in India under the kingship of Akbar. So Akbar also introduced a policy of, religious tolerance and established the concept Deen-e Ilahi and constructed Ibadat Khana. Why was it constructed? In order to, conduct debates, seminars, meetings on religious questions, religious topics. Akbar called missionaries of different religions. Akbar called saints of different religions and heard their discussions and questioned, and until he was getting satisfied with the answer, he kept on asking questions. A number of questions were asked from the side of Akbar, and they all tried their level best to satisfy Akbar. Although Akbar had no education, neither he could sign his name, nor he could read out books, because Akbar had no education. But his memory was extraordinarily good. His memory. And with that memory, Akbar always recalled any point of discussions. Once he was told, once he was taught. So only because of that reason, Akbar made a special arrangement and encouraged the poets, distinguished writers, to write poems of beauty and charm. They encouraged them, and Akbar also made an arrangement for his wives to appoint a number of teachers, and they also are allowed to learn unknown things from them. Akbar also allowed them to practice their religion as per their religious concept, of their respective knowledge, respective religions, Hindu, Islam's, and Christianity, and hence the Akbar ultimately was able to be one of the greatest rulers of India and ruled for about 49 years in his life and also suppressed so many revolts, but still he law and order although was established strongly in the country, people were happy, prosperous, rich, peasants and farmers also were happy, rich and prosperous, and other rulers also had great respect for Akbar. That's why Akbar is the great. And next one, Jahangir and his mistakes. Jahangir, the son of Akbar, came to power. Before coming to power, before ascending the throne of the Mughal dynasty, before being ascended the throne of the Mughal dynasty, Jahangir organized a revolt against Akbar. That very revolt, which was organized by Jahangir, was not done by himself. He did it under huge pressure of the nobles. The nobles provoked Jahangir to organize revolt against Akbar, and it was due to that reason Jahangir did it, because Jahangir from the very beginning could not take any decision independently. He always depended on others and followed the same system till his death. How? Because of Nur Jahan. Nur Jahan, whom Jahangir married, had established her influence over Jahangir. And before taking any decision, Jahangir always would consult his wife Nur Jahan. And Nur Jahan established his influence over Jahangir and always influenced his power at the time when Jahangir would take any decision. Besides, Jahangir, during the end of his rule, when Jahangir health was deteriorating due to taking of alcohols, and in spite of being restricted by the doctors, Jahangir used to take alcohols in a regular way. That's why Jahangir mentally and physically was depressed, and he left all the responsibilities on his wife. The responsibility, and Nur Jahan, his wife, shouldered all responsibilities, and he worked on behalf of her husband Jahangir, and looked after the administration of the Mughals, and thought that what he would think, what he would do, that would be final. But he never expected Khurram, Prince Khurram, one of the ablest, one of the favorite sons of Jahangir, Khurram, Prince Khurram, might become the ruler of the Mughal dynasty. That idea never came to his mind. Although sometimes he thought that Prince Khurram might become the ruler of the Mughal dynasty, but he left no stone unturned in making another son of Jahangir. It is not mentioned in your book. Another son of Jahangir to be the ruler of the Mughal dynasty after his husband's death, Shahryar, who was the son-in-law of Nur Jahan, because Nur Jahan had one daughter. So with that, Nur Jahan decided to make Shahryar to be the emperor of the Mughal dynasty. But ultimately, what happened to him? Shahryar was addicted to alcohol. He was alcoholic, and hence Shahryar was unable to shoulder the responsibility of the Mughal dynasty. At the 11th hour, Nur Jahan realized it. But when he realized it, the situation was beyond control, and Prince Khurram declared himself to be the emperor of Delhi and became the Mughal emperor after his father's death. So it's a great effort of Prince Khurram who became the ruler by means of his own strategy, own technique, and own quick. Whatever things is there, he applied individually and succeeded in course of time. And during the time of political crisis, who was going to be the ruler of Delhi after the death of Jahangir, no one knew, but Prince Khurram was confident enough. He never disclosed anything else before other one, but he ultimately was able to be the ruler of the Mughal dynasty. And last one, Shah Jahan and his nobility. Shah Jahan, from the very, very beginning, on being the ruler of the Mughal dynasty, decided to establish a rule throughout the country and decided to construct a number of buildings, monuments, mosques at the cost of Indian people and their revenues. That's why he increased huge amount of revenues on the peasants and farmers. In some places there were peasants and farmers revolt, but he forcefully suppressed it. But still, he did not leave his policy of expenditure. Huge amount of money he spent for the construction of new buildings, monuments, and next day the remaining part I shall continue. Thank you.